Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at AMD. As I am recording, the stock price is up, but things can change throughout the day. We've had a really strong Monday. Let's see how Tuesday goes. Stock price right now is sitting at $59.50, and we can see it's sitting pretty close to its 52-week low of $54. So in today's episode, I want to take a closer look at a report that talks about AMD cutting back on some of their supply for their new processor and what that overall means for the overall business. So let's get started.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
So on Monday, October 17th, there were reports that AMD cuts down its Ryzen 7000 production as demand drops like a rock. And that's not new news, right? As the company early last week announced preliminary results for the third quarter of 2022, where the company says they are going to miss their overall expectations by roughly $1 billion, thanks to primarily due to a weaker client segment revenue. This is overall the desktop processors and the Ryzen processors that also go on laptops. Along with that, we've also done an episode where we saw that the worldwide PC shipments declined another 15% in the third quarter of 2022, according to IDC Tracker. So for AMD to be cutting down their supply due to the overall slowdown in demand is not something new. But I do want to mention a few other reasons that could be impacting the overall demand for their processors. Another reason is overall the cost of entry for this Ryzen 7000 series. So for those not familiar, AMD released their Ryzen 7000 series on September 27th. AMD also announced that this new processor was going to be using an AM5 platform and it was going to be using DDR5 memory. So just pretty much what that means is, compared to the previous generations all worked well with each other. This new generation is the start of a new platform, so if someone wants to enter and buy this kind of processor, they need to buy a new motherboard and they need to buy a new memory card. This new platform is going to last for a few generations, so this kind of discussion is not something we're going to have again during their next generation release of processors, but it is something to kind of have in mind right now, especially as we have talks of consumer spending kind of decreasing. Many consumers might be like, hey, I'm not going to purchase a new processor if I need to purchase a new motherboard and a new memory card. So in my opinion, this processor was released at the wrong time in the wrong place, right? We've had numerous headwinds. We have the slowdown of the overall PC market, but not only that, we also have kind of consumer spending maybe slowing down due to overall macroeconomic events, that having a new platform, having a heavy cost of entry also kind of slows down the demand. And if you are enjoying the episode so far, make sure to hit the thumbs up, as it does help me grow my overall audience. If you want to support a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link at fool.com/Jose. I do want to say another kind of headwind affecting this new generation of processors is AMD's previous generation and their top dog, the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D, and this is one of the most powerful processors that AMD released, and it's on the old platform. So some consumers might be like, hey, there's no point for me to upgrade to the 7000 series if I can just buy some of the high tier 5000 series and kind of still be on the high tier in kind of the performance wise. I mean, if we take a closer look at bestseller CPUs in the market right now here, thanks to Newegg, most of them are AMD Ryzen. Actually, the top 4 are all AMD Ryzen 5000 series. We don't get into the 7000 series until number 13 and number 14. And if we take a closer look at bestsellers in motherboards, most of them are AM4 platforms. So that's the previous generations for AMD, the one that can be used for the 5000 series and below. So we can see the overall consumer right now doesn't mind buying a previous generation opposed to paying the big bucks to buy the new generations. The final headwind affecting this kind of slowdown in demand is Intel, the competition, right? They are expected to release their 13th generation processors on October 20th, so a few days from now. So many consumers might be like, hey, I don't want to purchase the new AMD platform yet until I get to see what Intel has in store. And I do want to say probably there is one more reason: Black Friday and holiday sales. There are talks that this Black Friday and this holiday month is going to be a very strong for discounts. So maybe some users, some consumers are just waiting to see if any of these kind of platforms go on heavy discount during the Black Friday sales, during that Cyber Monday. So that also can be kind of impacting certain consumers to slow down on purchasing right now. At the end of the day, it's definitely kind of a scary time for AMD's consumer market. But remember, AMD is is more than just a consumer player. We can see their data centers 1.6 billion, their gaming market is 1.6 billion, their embedded market is 1.3 billion, and those are up year over year. So we can see AMD, even though consumer side is going to be weak, they definitely have numerous tailwinds in other spaces. So for me, a semiconductor investor, I'm not selling any of my shares of AMD. I'm actually purchasing more time over time. And I do want to say this slowdown in the consumer market wouldn't give me a reason to sell, but I do believe it's important to understand what's happening so we can all have an understanding of what's happening with the overall semiconductor market. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.